He was alone, not lost, not waiting to be found, deliberately abandoned hundreds of miles from the nearest human being, and he survived for 4 years and 4 months. His name was Alexander Selkirk, born in 1676 in a small Scottish village called Lower Largo. From an early age, he clashed with everyone around him: family, church, authority. The sea was his escape and his undoing. In 1703, Selkirk joined a privateering expedition under William Dampier. Their mission: raid enemy ships during the War of the Spanish Succession. Selkirk served aboard the Cinque ports under Captain Thomas Stradling. It was a brutal voyage around Cape Horn through failed raids, dwindling supplies. By September 1704, the ship anchored at an uninhabited island, Mas a Tierra, part of the Juan Fernandez archipelago, remote, savage, beautiful. Selkirk had been watching the ship fall apart for months, rotting planks, leaking hull. A captain he no longer trusted. He made a decision that would haunt him instantly. He told Stradling he'd rather stay on the island than die on that ship. Stradling agreed. Selkirk screamed to be taken back. He begged, he pleaded. The captain refused. As the Cinque ports disappeared beyond the horizon, Selkirk stood on the beach alone. He had a musket, a hatchet, a knife, a Bible, some clothes. Nothing else. The island was alive, but not for him. Sea lions took over his beach. Rats gnawed at him in the dark. Every sound in the jungle was something unknown. For the first weeks, he barely functioned. He sat at the shoreline and stared at the water. He later said the loneliness nearly broke him completely. But survival forced him forward. He moved inland, found fresh water, wild turnips, fruit, cabbage palms. There were goats on the island, leftovers from pirate visits decades before. He hunted them. When his powder ran out, he chased them barefoot. Over time, he tamed a few: milk, meat, companionship of a kind. Once, chasing a goat at full speed, he ran off a cliff. He fell. The goat broke his fall. He lay injured at the bottom for days. The goat kept him alive. He domesticated wild cats to fight off the rats. He built 2 huts from pimento wood, thatched with grass, lined with goatskins. He boiled meat, gathered lobsters, read his Bible aloud every single day, reading aloud to no one, just to remember how to speak. He kept signal fires burning on the high ground, always watching, always waiting. One day, 2 ships appeared, Spanish vessels. They came ashore. He ran. He climbed a tree and held perfectly still while sailors relieved themselves beneath his branches. They left. He came down, still alone. His knife broke. He forged new ones from iron washed ashore. His clothes rotted. He stitched new ones from goatskin. His feet hardened until he could run across volcanic rock without pain. 4 years passed. On the 1st of February, 1710, 2 ships appeared on the horizon. The rigging looked English. He lit the fire. He ran to the beach. The ship sent a small boat ashore. Leading the landing party was Thomas Dover. What he found was a man who looked like a wild animal, but had the eyes of someone who had never stopped hoping. The captain of the Duke, Woodes Rogers, was stunned by Selkirk's condition, not broken, not hollow. Stronger than most men he'd ever met. He could outrun goats. He barely spoke, but when he did, it was measured and clear. Rogers later wrote, "Solitude is not such an unbearable condition, especially when thrust into it unavoidably." Selkirk was made second mate aboard the Duke. He raided Spanish ports along South America, seized gold, navigated the East Indies. He sailed around the entire world. On October 1st, 1711, 8 years after he first set sail, Alexander Selkirk returned to England. A legend before he even stepped off the ship. His story reached the ears of a writer named Daniel Defoe. In 1719, Defoe published a novel about a castaway who built a life from nothing. He called the character Robinson Crusoe. In 1966, the Chilean government renamed Selkirk's island. It is now called Isla Alejandro Selkirk. The man who was marooned, abandoned, left to die, is now immortalized in the name of the place that tried to break him. He didn't break.
History unlocked. See you next time.